This episode is part of Glendale Library Arts and Cultures and the Southern California Library Cooperative's Be the Change series, which focuses on inclusion, diversity, equity, anti-racism.
Be the Change events will build collective understanding of systemic racism, elevate the voices and stories of Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and inspire our community to be the change.
Welcome to another episode of Teen Gen Talks, hosted by me, Melissa.
And me, Desiree.
Where the goal is to empower the Glendale youth and connect youth to community resources, individuals, and organizations through interviews and discussions.
And today we are joined by a special guest, Stacy, who is a Michigan native who went to college in San Francisco, taught English in China, and then settled in LA to help take care of her 90-year-old grandmother. Stacy wants to help her mother and women everywhere stay functional and happy as long as possible. Stacy has been a personal trainer since 2014. She is certified with NASM, National Association of Science Medicine, and adheres to a tailored science-based training program to empower individual clients to use their time and energy efficiently. Today, Stacy strives to help more women age well, maintain strength by introducing more basic exercises and positive nutrition habits, and help women 50 plus around the world.
So don't forget to follow us on our socials at Facebook and Instagram at MyGlendelleLAC. Don't forget to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Glendale Library Arts and Culture, where we post full videos every Friday at 4:30 p.m. Thank you, Stacy, for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. We have a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. So to start off the interview, I want to take it back a bit. You're a Michigan native and went to college in San Francisco, and later you went to China to teach English. So was teaching English one of your first passions before leading up to you wanting to follow the fitness journey?
I love teaching people. You're right. It's very much something I enjoy. When I grew up, my parents were Cambodian refugees. And so they had a really hard time with English. And so they didn't really help me with school. And so I was slow in everything. And so because I was slower, I always had more patience teaching anyone anything, because I understand that it just takes time and patience and love for someone to understand. And so I always have a lot of faith in anybody to learn anything. And I think I can teach anyone anything because of my patience and love with people. So teaching English in China really helped me talk to a lot of like big audiences, because I just used to just talk one-on-one with people. But yeah, that's where I started learning how to public speaking and things like that.
So we actually had a couple questions submitted by our Glendale local teen named Ariga. So we'll be throwing some here and there. We'll let you know. So her first question is, how was your experience from living in the States to then transferring to living in China?
The national pride in every country is very strong. Like I feel like when I'm with Americans and they meet a Canadian, there's a lot of jokes about Canadians. And then if we go to Canada, there'll be lots of jokes kind of thing. And so China has their own pride and their own way of doing things. And so, so they wanted me to be like them, because I'm also Chinese American, so they felt like I should be like them. So sometimes the funny thing was I would like go to a store and I didn't have great Chinese, so people would laugh and they joke about it because I didn't know. But the big difference, there's just so many cultural differences between China and America, and so it's really interesting. Like I read this book called Dale Carnegie and How to Win Friends and Influence People. And they told me that they thought this book and the Bible were the most popular books in America. And I was like, I have no idea about this book. What are you talking about? And this book to me really makes China and America kind of one for me, because it really shows how to show respect and love for people, but also being an individual. And so I really enjoyed reading that book to try to understand Chinese culture better, but at the same time, keeping my own independence, because China's really more about society as a whole versus Americans really think about individualism so much. So it's just like, that was the big differences of that.
And at age 25, you settled in LA and became your grandmother's full-time caretaker. What is something you learned from this time, and what was your life like during this time?
So at that time, I never really spent time with my grandmother. I mean, more than just like a week. And we didn't speak the same language when I was growing up. So until when I went to China and came back, she could speak Mandarin too. And so that was like the first time that I could talk to her, was like when I came back from China. So it was like really fun to actually have conversations with her. What happened was, I didn't have like the physical strength to be her caretaker, as in I didn't know how much strength I needed to be able to pick her up and move her around. So I started going to the gym and weight training and getting personal trainers and things. And that really opened my eyes that, you know, my grandmother didn't weight train when she was as in her life. And so her body started getting worse and worse and worse over time because she never learned how to weight train. And so when I was with her, I just kept wanting to teach her how to weight train, but she didn't want to weight train. So now my career is teaching mostly senior women how to weight train, because, you know, if they don't learn in their 60s, and when they get to their 90s to 100, their body is just going to get worse. But if they learn how to weight train now, they'll be very prepared and maybe still walking and moving. And so it's really exciting if you know how to weight train, that when you're 100, you don't have to be in a wheelchair kind of feeling.
My grandpa actually, because he's like 90 years old, he exercises every morning. I know he does arms. I think he stopped walking since the pandemic, but he does a lot of walking and weight training and all that in their backyard.
Yeah, it's a huge difference between a senior who weight trains and a senior who doesn't do any exercise. So it's like huge changes on their body.
So what is the hardest part in your journey in taking nutrition and exercise more seriously?
I would say that people don't have enough patience for themselves. Like, there's always this rush of results that they want to see, and they lose motivation. And that's why there's so many fad diets and et cetera, and people quitting constantly. And its concept is that when I teach fitness to people, I'm trying to teach a lifestyle. I'm trying to create a lifestyle that's really comfortable and happy for them. Because if they feel comfortable and happy, they're going to be able to maintain. And if they can't get that feeling and concept down, then it's never going to work for them, you know? And it's like, I always call like a habit and a concept a muscle, because if you try to do so much at once, you're going to quit because you're putting too much load on the muscle of trying to build a habit. But if you move it really slowly up, you're just going to keep getting so strong that everything is easy to do. So I think that's the biggest challenge for everyone, is that they quit easily because they feel overwhelmed about what the vision of fitness they have for themselves. And so I try to make the picture much smaller, because I'll get it bigger, but we're just like trying to start here and instead of here kind of thing.
So in 2014 is when you began this personal trainer journey, and after getting certified. So how exactly did YIP Fitness go from just being an idea to your own fitness empire?
So I love group training. But I always felt like group training and fitness classes were, you know, they didn't really fix form enough. And then they never really talked to you one-on-one. And then personal training is so expensive. Like, it costs so much money to go to personal training, that I feel, because I've paid for a lot of trainers. And so I wanted to meld the two together and make my own formula. And so what I do is, even though they're in a class, I'm always fixing their form. And so they're always getting better and better, because it takes like 1,000 tries to do something perfect to get it to be perfect. So you have to just keep tweaking until it's perfect. And then the whole one-on-one paths I put it with it is every client with me will talk to me for 5 minutes to 1 hour every single week to make sure that they're on track. And then I read a lot of different books about barriers. And so I make those little talking meetings free, because I don't want to make you feel anxious that you're talking to me because it costs money. I mean, maybe the fitness class costs money, okay, but people really like paying to exercise, but they don't like to pay for talking. So I took that out, and I just like to talk to people and listen and try to understand them. so they don't feel rushed and they still have more motivation to take care of themselves. And so I practiced this formula for 5 years at a gym. And then I started practicing because the gym closed down, and because, COVID went crazy too. So like lots of things closed. But anyway, so then I had to do it over Zoom instead of in person. And I met all these people all over the US and Canada who have joined my program now. So I went from 20 clients from California to over 100 now. And then I have employees from Texas because I needed to help me get to East Coast time zones. So I really, what happened was I just constantly was listening to clients in those meetings and tailoring to the program that I thought would be more life-changing for someone. And so that's how, and it just takes a lot of time and being patient with yourself that, being successful doesn't take a day, it takes years, but it's okay if you're just constantly growing, you're doing great, kind of thing.
In your Shout Out LA article, you mentioned how you have had 7 different personal trainers and have taken a variety of fitness classes. Oh wait, you just answered that. Sorry.
Oh, I can give you advice about what you should see for in a class and a fitness or a personal trainer. Like these are things that I would look for because I'm so picky. So for me, these are the things I want to see in a class. And if they don't have to have all of them, but these are my perfect class ideas. So number 1 is stretching. Sometimes you see no stretching, and most people don't know how to stretch. So they just kind of come in cold and they're ready to go, right? They just want to go. And if I see a class that has a good warm up and stretching routine before and after, I feel like there's like some quality there, because people don't know how to stretch and foam roll. They're not going to do it by themselves. So I want to see that in the class. So that's first. Second, I really like the concept of an icebreaker. So while I have stretching, I always have an icebreaker where all the clients are just kind of talking a little bit because there's more connection. So I feel like it's nice to just kind of feel your classroom or your fitness class in any way that you just don't know yourself only, you know, a couple people possibly, because this icebreaker is helping you feel comfortable. You should see like them fixing form. I really feel like people don't know form correctly. So if you don't ever get fixed in the class, I feel like that's not like my ideal class. So I'm hoping they're coming around and trying to fix things about it to make it more perfect so you prevent injuries. So those are my key things if you go to a class. If you have a personal trainer, I'm obsessed about homework. So every client has homework with me, and it doesn't have to be a lot. If they can only handle one piece of homework, that's fine. But I believe in giving homework to my clients and being very clear. And so if a trainer doesn't give you homework to do, I think that's not, I want more from my trainer. So that's what I'm looking for. So when I'm hiring someone or taking a class.
And you've mentioned how all of your instruction is done online, and you also mentioned an icebreaker. So is that a way for you to kind of gain that personal, like, connection? Because I know like it might have, or I guess, was it difficult for you transitioning from in person to just like online?
Like I always like challenges because I like being in a box where, okay, I can't do this, then what am I going to do? So I really love that feeling of being trapped in like, what are my options? Yeah. So when I see what my options are, I play with what can be done. So I feel like even though I've been in person for so long, I really thought really hard, well, what are my possibilities in this screen? What can I do? What's my possibilities? So like movements can't be too big because I can't see them. So what are the movements I can do that they can stay on the screen for me? Mm-hmm. So I actually love limitations because it makes me think more. So I just enjoy that. Icebreakers. So sometimes the icebreaker is fun because I'm learning new things. So for example, I had a rash on my neck and I asked my clients, what lotions do you like to use to help with, dry skin? And so I got 20 different answers of how to handle this. So it's I'm always learning something from my clients to just try new things and see new things. And I feel like they are learning every time they come to class too.
So you have had clients for over 7 years. How do you keep clients coming back to you?
I think love and patience. Love and patience is why they keep coming back. So yeah, they feel like family to me. I love them and I take care of them and I'm very prompt. In China, Chinese people are very prompt. They do everything for you right away. And in America, we kind of tend to take care of ourselves and then maybe we'll remember to help you. And so with my clients and my friends, I do everything in 3 ways, either right now, within 24 hours, or I set a date for you. And so I think I built a lot of trust having this kind of policy in my head that I'm always helping people in those ways. So that's also, I think, why my clients trust and love me.
And how have you seen the fitness industry changing, and how do you keep up with those changes?
There are a lot of different conferences. Like the biggest conference is called IDEA, and it's in Los Angeles, so we're lucky. And they are always showing you the different presentations of what's the modern science for what's happening with fitness. Things that I'm very excited about are so this is not here yet. This is not here yet, but this is the most exciting piece of research that I'm ready for, is your toilet is going to tell you your health. Because, urine and poop, it tells you so much. So someday our toilet will tell us so much and our doctor won't need, they can just look up our toilet results and give us so much information about ourselves. So there's just so much new science. And I've taken those genetic testing about what kind of foods you should eat based off your, blood type and things, or not blood, but, your poop sample, actually. So there's just a lot of new modern things that are interesting. I wouldn't say you have to do them. I don't think it's so necessary. There are just really basic concepts that people need to learn, but it's just fun to see those concepts coming. So I think the future is so exciting. I love data on my watch. All these things make exercise more fun. So I think Instagram, actually, I follow a lot of different people. They're always posting new ideas. So that's really fun to see research from that. And then community college has all these different classes. So sometimes I take an online class and meet a registered dietitian and we just have discussions and stuff like that.
The next 3 questions are from Ariga. They want to know, what is the best exercise for elder women to adhere to?
Oh, the best exercise, huh? Okay, this is because I took care of my grandmother. So the hardest thing is when you lose your ability to get out of bed. That is horrifying, in my opinion. And so to be able to get out of bed is you need to do bridges. And bridges are laying on your back and bringing your butt up high, and you're pushing with your heels and you're squeezing your butt up. And if you don't have that glute and hamstring stretch to be able to do that exercise, you cannot get out of bed someday. And then in future, you need to change your diaper. I know it sounds sad, but it's true. You can't do bridges. That person has a hard time changing your diaper, kind of thing. So in my opinion, doing bridges at least 3 times a week or more will be very helpful for the future. So you don't have a problem getting out of bed.
And have you experienced any differences with unhealthy habits that are similar across cultures? And what are some of the differences, especially in American culture?
In different cultures, it's about certain foods are identity foods. So Hispanic and Chinese and American, across the board, there are certain unhealthy foods that are kind of our identity, tamales or white rice or hamburgers, And so when I ask a client, for example, to eat brown rice, it's sometimes impossible. It's impossible for them because it's so close to their identity, And so the thing is, when diabetes comes, it's the doctor says no more brown rice, white rice. So it's that moment when you're told that you have to stop, but you don't want to because it's been your identity, is a big problem. And only a doctor will sometimes get through to them, but sometimes it doesn't. And they just keep going through more health issues because they can't stop eating that food because they feel identity with it, or culture identity. American stuff is I feel we have an overeating thing. And so my best tip, because I always have to do this conversation about overeating. And so my best tip for overeating is about eating fruit right before a meal that you think is super unhealthy. So if you eat like an apple right before an unhealthy meal, you're not going to eat till you're full from the unhealthy food. You're actually going to eat full, the natural stop point, because the apple is making you so full right before you're about to eat it. So if you're going to eat like a buffet, eat an apple right before, because you're not going to overeat as much because you're already kind of full from the fiber.
I know your programs are tailored for women, but Ariga wants to know, for teenagers, is the lack of exercise or bad nutrition the biggest factor that leads people to an unhealthy lifestyle? And what is the best exercise for teens to adhere to?
Being unhealthy at any age is hard. And we're having a really growing, diabetes and like overweight issue. Like it's just starting with younger children now. And so it's really at any time, can you like improve it is better, If I had to pick like one exercise that, like students should do, if you don't have any wrist issues, then there's this thing called bear crawling. And what you do is you're on the floor with flat hands, and shoulders should be relaxed, and you're going to move forward and backward and maybe side to side if you'd like. And you kind of look like you're rock climbing on the floor, but you're not putting as much effort as like coming up into the wall or something. But it works your full body. It works your arms, your legs, your abs, everything is working. So I have clients do that for about 1 to 5 minutes, and they get so tired. And they're working all their muscles without having to do like a 30-minute to 1 hour workout. So, but if you have a wrist issue, then you could do it standing without weights or with weights, and that's more gentle. So if you have a wrist issue, you could do it standing, but if you're feeling fine, then doing it in the floor is more advanced and it would work your body faster.
And I think you've touched upon this a bit previously, but if you could touch upon it a little bit more in depth. As a personal trainer and fitness instructor, what is something you see that a lot of people think or believe will help them either lose weight or be more healthy, but in reality, it does more harm than good?
Oh, I really hate keto. Like, oh man, like, I mean, I know people love keto. There's a lot of people who love keto and they swear by it. But in my opinion, the saturated fat is so high that your health will get really problematic later, because it's going to create maybe heart disease or other issues because they're just such high saturated fat. So I would say my scariest fad diet is keto. Like I'm very afraid by it. Even though people are getting health results and all this other stuff, I think it's very dangerous for later.
I guess a separate question from that is do you believe diets work and detoxing juices, cleansing juices?
Yeah,
and all
I don't
that
like
stuff?
any of that. You're right, juicing. So, so in my opinion, it's number one is if anything is short term, it's never going to work. They actually did a study about all the diets, and they technically all work because there's some change, and then your body will see change. But the minute you go back, kind of thing. So, but I feel like, the best diet is eating unprocessed, having 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day, which is either 1 cup or 1 whole is what the serving is for fruit. And if you're going to eat unhealthy, think of things as 2 times a week. So let's pretend you love ice cream. Can you keep it to 2 times a week? If you like chocolate, can you keep it to 2 times a week? If you're still not seeing results, then I get more picky with clients than those concepts.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is moderation to me is 2 times a week of really unhealthy things. And then really healthy stuff, of course, you have it 7 days a week kind of thing.
I also want to talk about your dating strategy program you have. If you can talk a bit about it and what made you want to create this program.
Oh, yeah. So when I was dating, I felt that it was very stressful and uncomfortable. And so I decided, I tried a lot of techniques, and I have concepts that I would give advice for. So I can just say them right now. They're really simple concepts. And when I do coaching for that, I'm just really paying attention is the concept. So this is what I would recommend for dating. Number 1 is having making sure your health is where you want to be. Because if you have good confidence in your health, you're going to have good confidence on the date. If you're feeling really insecure about your health, it's going to show on the date. And you don't have to be like your perfection kind of thing. But you're just like, I'm walking enough, I'm weight training a little bit, I'm eating as healthy as I want to be, just small things to make you feel like, you're trying your best. That's enough. You don't have to be your ideal look. You just have to feel like you're making your effort about your health. Okay. So that gives you confidence. Second thing after that, when I help with clients, if they're feeling ready to date, is this concept of a first date outfit. So what I mean by that is that I think the best way to make a date happy and easy is to always wear the same outfit because that outfit is, you'll feel like your best self. This is like, you look great. And the less effort you put into this outfit, as in thought and energy, the more, like, if it doesn't work out on that date, you didn't put so much effort, So if you feel like, I look great in this dress, I feel really happy in this outfit, and then you go on that date, but it didn't take you like 2 days or 3 days to get that outfit together, you're going to feel like happy, confident, and then you didn't put too much work into it. Okay. Next thing is, in my opinion, the date needs to be something that you feel confident in. So perhaps you want to go on a walk with them, or you want to go play pool, or you want to play like sport with them, whatever it is. But if it's moving, you're going to feel more confident. And if you're doing the same activity or an activity you like to do, let's say this date sucks, but you're still going to have a great time because this person's doing activity you like to do, So it just really makes like the situation better. And then there's a spiral effect that people overthink after a date. So you should either have a phone call with a friend where you can discuss the date, or make sure you have an activity afterwards that you can have fun. So you're not thinking too much, but you can maybe talk about the date, but you're not just like obsessing it by yourself. So be good with your health, have a first date outfit in mind, and then have an activity after you're done with your date that you feel like will help you not spiral and think too much about it. And why did I make this thing? Because I feel like people stress too much about this, and it's not good for their health when they're too stressed about it. So that's why I made the whole program, was to help with de-stress of this. So, yeah.
So what is one tip you would give young adults or anyone really who is stepping into the dating scene for the first time or back in a long time?
I would say definitely go on more than one date, like as in like multiple people. You should try to date 2 to 3 people at once, is my suggestion. Because if you feel very invested in one person and you're trying to like plan for their future with them, that's too much thinking. You need to just, enjoy people's company and like meet other people and just have a lot of fun. And if people are really investing in you, then you invest in them. You should mirror their energy. Do not give more than they're giving, because then you're going to get more sad, because you're not giving, you got to mirror them. Because if you're not mirroring them, you're going to get like tired or sad or disappointed. So you have to just really like understand that concept of mirroring. So
what do you think about like dating apps? And
I love dating apps. That's how you can get so many dates at once. So yeah, you should totally use dating apps. They're really helpful. The thing is, you should give someone 2 weeks. If they don't ask you on a date in 2 weeks, because everyone's going on so many dates, they're not going to really go on a date with you. You give them 2 weeks, they don't ask you, stop talking to them. You got to move on to the next person.
You also have YIP 360, which is an annual challenge, and YIP Fitness prepares a raffle to donate to autism organizations during the month of February. Can you tell us more about this?
Sure. My brother had autism, and he passed away in 2019 in February. And so I wanted to make like a fundraiser that month to help with my coping. And so my clients have come together and helped me share healthy activity ideas and healthy recipes and raise money for autism as a tribute to him. So every year I do this to have like a positive feeling about the month that he had passed away. And so it really helped. I feel I did pictures, I talked about him. I didn't, sometimes people feel like uncomfortable about talking about death. And by doing this challenge for me, I feel like it helped me be more confident, that, his memory is strong with me every day.
Is there anything your clients have taught you through starting YIP Fitness?
They, because I have so many senior clients, I do feel like I have like 100 mothers kind of. So they do give me advice all the time. And it's more, they always talk about patience and being careful and like taking care of yourself. As you get older, the more you feel like things are not that important.
Mm.
Like when we're younger, everything's kind of important. And when you get older, you're like, that's not that important. You kind of focus on true values versus small things. And so I feel like my older clients really show me that. I do feel like stress is a big factor for any age. And so even though my clients might be older than me, I do feel like they have very high stress. And so do my younger clients. So I think at any age, it's really important to manage your stress for your health.
And where would you like to see YIP Fitness going in the future?
Oh, I want to be global. This is going to be $1 billion business. I'm very confident about it.
Yes.
So I want to help the whole world be healthy. That's my game plan. Because I think the current structure is not as effective. I want to make it more effective. So like affordable. And like my big thing is I want more experts on my panel. So because I mentioned health meetings. So I feel like our health system for me is when I want an appointment, it sometimes takes me a month to get an appointment for a doctor or a physical therapist or other things. And so I would like my panel to have a doctor, a physical therapist, a registered dietitian, a counselor. So when you're waiting for your 1 month appointment, you have someone to give you some advice in the now before you get your x-ray and MRI and other things. So that's also my future, is to have those people on board. But yeah, I want to be global and I want to have more employees. So that is what I would like. So.
But before we end, we have some rapid fire questions. The first question is, what is your favorite color?
I love light blue, like baby blue kind of color.
When are you the happiest?
When a client tells me that I've helped their life.
If you could have 3 people dead or alive for dinner guests, who would they be?
Well, you two. I would like to eat dinner with you guys. That would be fun. So my husband, I still love him, so I would put him on there. And then I would just push my parents. I love my parents. So even though it's too many people, that's what I would put in there. I love history is cool and everything, but I love the people in my life right now.
What is the song that you have on repeat currently?
Oh, I love BTS. So I like Dynamite a lot, and like, Butter, I like BTS. Yes.
I love that.
So yeah.
You're in the presence of 2 big BTS fans too.
Oh,
so.
Cool. So I went to Korea because my friend got BTS concert tickets, but she only got one. So I just flew to Korea for her to go to the concert, and I was just hanging out. And we went to all these BTS like areas in Korea that they have dinner or something.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you want your legacy to be?
I want people to remember how much I helped people and how loving I am. That's what I want.
What is the best compliment you've ever received?
I like that. Okay, so I've had this happen, but I like that when people don't say this. So I have a very loud laugh, and it's so loud that it can hear from many streets over. And so I've had people really hate it, that they want me fired from a job. Like, that's how intense this laugh is. But my favorite compliment is when people like my laugh. So when people say nice things about my laugh, it's really nice because I can't control it. But when someone says they like my laugh, it makes me happy because they know how happy I am from laughing. So.
What is a book that you have read recently or are currently reading that you would recommend?
I'm currently reading, I haven't finished it, but I really love that Designer Life book. But I'm reading Think Like a Monk right now by Jay Shetty. And I feel like, we care so much about material things a lot. And so his book is about how to shed that and try to really value life in the right way. And so I'm just like reading this book right now and trying to like lower my inner stress to just kind of like think about the valuable of just the day to day. So I'm liking this book right now, but I haven't finished it. It's only like, one chapter in. So, but I definitely, Dave Evans, 100%, I love so much. Design Your Life is really amazing, but this book is pretty interesting so far.
Thank you, Stacy, for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. Can you let everyone at home know about any upcoming projects and where they can connect with you?
Sure. So my Instagram is a good way to connect with me. We're posting recipes and healthy activity ideas. So if you ever have a question about health, you can go to at YIP Fitness on Instagram. Another way to connect with me is usually I only allow one free class to a client, but if you mention this podcast, I will allow you have 1 month free of classes. So if you want to meet me and try my classes, I will give you 1 month free if you mention this podcast.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stacy. It was a pleasure getting to know you, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I had so much fun.
Oh, yay.
So.
We're glad.